Clownfish, clownfish, bitchcock, clownfish, clownfish.
Well, hello, all you beautiful boys and girls, and all of those in between. My name is Melina Bitchcock, and I want to welcome you to another fantastic episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, a queer talk show where I get to interview some of the best queer performers from all over. I'm so excited because I have a really remarkable young soul here today who is just a very talented queer drag performer, and I'm just ready to interview him. Please introduce them to the stage, the one and only Sophia Octavia Stone. Yes.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, baby. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to beat this heat and this smoke going on, but
Ooh,
you
I
know
feel
what?
that so much, honey, but I feel the best way to do that is just, look glamorous. Yeah,
Exactly. If it's gonna be hot out, might as well give them what they want.
absolutely. So how have you been surviving this last year, my love?
Oh, it has been insanity. I have been working like crazy. I'm a nurse, so I constantly having to run. It's been a very long year in quarantine, trying to keep everybody safe, keep myself safe, but also trying to find anything to do with drag that I can. Been doing lots of virtual shows, things like that, trying to stay involved, even when it was difficult to be together.
Well, I love that, my love. Well, I'm happy that you're staying safe. And that's definitely in such a frontline, position that you're in. Well, are you ready to, get to know you as a drag character and dive into this interview, bitch?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. So, can you tell me a little bit what was like your first exposure to drag itself?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up very conservative Mormon family, and my father had always given me a bad idea of drag and drag performers. And then I moved to Missoula, Montana for college. And my very first drag show I went was a Disney themed drag show. And it was absolutely fantastic. I loved the art of it. Like, it was just fun and high energy. But what really stuck with me is the character of some of these performers and how they take care of their community. Um, at the time, like after the first show that I ever went to, at the time I was underage and had an ID that said I was from somewhere that I wasn't supposed that I'm not actually from.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And so I was too young to be there, but I stayed anyways. And there was one man who came up to me throughout the night, kept trying to hit on me, kept trying to hit on me. I kept trying to shut him down. And then towards the end of the night, he decided that he was going to try to carry me out of the bar by
Oh my.
grabbing me in the private area and putting his hand over my chest and lifting me in the air
Oh
and
no.
trying to walk out. And the queens noticed this. And two queens, one named Hex Shadow, who is this giant witch, magnificent woman, and Christina Drake, who's gorgeous, maybe 5 foot, 100 pounds soaking wet.
Right.
The two of them pulled this guy off me and saved me. And I thought that these people were supposed to be quote unquote bad, terrible people, but they cared about a complete stranger and their safety. And that really stuck with me. And I was like, this is the kind of community I think I want to be a part of. And then the next month, one of the queens that from town was like, well, it's probably too late to get you in the show, but I have enough extra stuff that we could throw you in drag and see how you like it. And
Wow.
4 years later, we're still here.
What was it like that first time in drag? How old were you exactly, and what was the process of it?
I was 18 I and I'd gone over. She had given me a list of basic things I needed. She's like, I've got extra little things here and there, but here's some basic things you'll need. If you collect all this, we'll turn you into a drag queen in a week. And that's what we did. And my first time out, I was nervous, but it was one of the most confidence builders I've ever had. And drag to me has become my armor ever since then.
Absolutely. I say that in almost every episode about drag, how it can be our armor and help boost our confidence and make us feel strong when we may not ordinarily feel it. So I love that drag has had that effect on you. I love that so much. What was it about drag itself that actually attracted you to that world?
I think it was the beauty of the art, like creating something so beautiful and being able to express yourself. And uh, it was I was also starting to work out, figuring out that I am non-binary. And growing up, I was never really supposed to be into feminine things, and looking into it, I wanted to try. And it gave me so much affirmation that, like, hey, I like being able to feel feminine. I like being able to feel pretty and also be able to express myself in a way that nothing else really lets you.
I love that. Drag is a wonderful tool to really just, I love it because you can go out there, have the shittiest day in the world, go and do a show that night, and literally have the best evening ever because drag can really change the hardest days.
Exactly. Some of my worst days have been turned around just by the power of drag and being able to build my confidence up a little bit.
Exactly. So, my love, you have such a beautiful name. Tell me a little bit how you actually got your drag name.
Okay, well, fun story. My original drag name that I had picked out was Helga the Soccer Mom.
Oh, my goodness. That's quite the name, girl.
Yeah, the entire idea was gonna be I was gonna do nothing but soccer mom chic. And I still do a lot of soccer moms because I'm soccer mom related things because I am basically a soccer mom. But the night before the very first time I went on a drag, I was um sleeping and I had this crazy dream where I was sitting in this room and myself as Sophia came in and we sat down and she was like, so I hear that we're doing drag tomorrow and that you're trying to call me Helga. And she goes, my name is Sophia Octavia Stone. And then I woke up in a cold sweat and I was like, you know, that's a sign from the universe. I can't argue with that. And I've rolled with it ever since.
Oh my, it sounds like a religious experience. I love that. Wow, that's a great way to get your name. I wish mine came in. I chose my fucking name in a dish room of Harry and David's back in the day.
But
Girl.
Melina Bitchcock is still pretty fantastic.
I mean, a little something soft to something a little hard. Who doesn't like it?
Yeah, get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. So, my love, tell me a little bit about your drag style itself.
Well, my drag style can range anywhere from like heavy lesbian businesswoman-esque vibes to fantasy over the top kind of gothic Victorian type things. I really enjoy like more vintage type looks. And being able to combine a vintage kind of classic look with more of like a fantasy kind of, if that's like a witch or a Valkyrie that day. And I like to imbue my nerdiness within fantasy, within my nerdiness of vintage clothing.
Well, I love that. Nothing wrong with, putting a little cosplay or influence of pop culture within your drag. In fact, today, your looks, I mean, and this isn't meant to be shady at all, I promise. This is a compliment. You kind of are giving me, do you know the mom from Coraline? The one with the
Yeah.
buttons on her eyes and the like, you have like the same kind of ruffle around here. If you had like brown straight hair and buttons on your eyes, you would be giving me some cosplay, bitch.
Ooh, I like that.
Diaz, yes. So tell me a little bit about the character herself. Tell me about Sophia.
Sophia loves being able to interact with her audience. Like, I really enjoy being able to actually connect with people off stage and on stage. I like to be able to be that person that's approachable, that's not just this icon of, oh, she's a beauty queen. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. Like, no, I want to sit and I want to hear about you. I want to hear about what's what drew you here. And I also like try to Sophia also, I like to say that she is not very much of a sexual creature. I kind of look a little awkward when I'm trying to get super sexy. That's why they say it's better that I work with kids because I am not sexual. I, I try to, Sophia just wants to spread love and acceptance to everyone and make them feel safe, even if it's for just a couple hours in a dinky bar.
I mean, you're talking about spreading love and acceptance in just a couple hours. I mean, that kind of sounds sexual, and I'm into it.
Ooh.
I mean, I think as queens, we don't always have to embrace that sexual side. A lot of us do because it's freeing. It feels good. But some of us can feel like angels or dolls, where we're not really don't have genitalia or that sexual kind of thing that people want. We're just a beautiful creature that you get to look at, and that's it.
Exactly. And I love being able to go and show people that it's okay to live outside of the box. Some of my favorite moments I've had especially small children who come up and be like, "You can't be a boy. You're a princess." And I'm like, "Well, technically I'm not a boy anyways, but anybody can be a princess and feel beautiful if they want." And seeing that moment where it clicks, I can be a princess and look however the heck I want and be whoever I want to be. And I want everyone to be able to embrace that.
I love it, baby. Yes, yes. Now, tell me, how would you describe Sophia maybe in only 3 words?
Quirky, caring, and outgoing.
Ooh, what do you think makes her so outgoing?
Wanting to connect with as many people as possible, being able to let everyone know that they're loved and appreciated, and pushing past that social anxiety makes for some good bubbly conversation.
I love it. Now, all queens, they need to be crafty to keep these outfits looking fresh. Do you have any skills like sewing or sewing your own outfits or styling your own wigs?
Yeah, I do sew a lot of my own outfits, and I like to craft and make things. Especially when I do cosplay. I like to be able to build my own outfit instead of just buy it. But also I have learned how to do drag while being broke. So you learn how to make things all yourself.
Ooh, yes.
Make stuff from Goodwill and the Dollar Tree look like you bought it from Shein.
Hey, I love refurbishing stuff from the thrift stores. I think some of the best pieces I have in my closet are things I found like maybe at Salvation Army or Goodwill, and it's like, how the fuck is this here?
Exactly. And I'm wigs. I can't do anything big and crazy, but I can do a lot of basic things. I can curl my wigs, I can style them into different braids or different things like that. Volume it out and poof it out a little bit. I kind of just wing it with wigs. I've been slowly learning, getting better and better. When you have to be resourceful and do a lot of things on your own, you learn a lot of cool little random tricks. And so
I get it.
I've
I
been,
get it.
yeah.
I got some really great tricks with wigs. I mean, I've gotten really good with getting styled wigs going. I basically get my credit card out, I go online, and I look for the nearest and biggest freaking drag wig, and usually it's lilac. But then I'm like, yes! That's how my styling wigs happens.
My styling wigs happens at like 3 in the morning. You're just going 100 miles an hour, and you're like, I could buy that really fancy wig, or I can try this YouTube tutorial 100 times and eat some Cheetos while I'm watching it.
Oh goodness, yeah. So what all goes into creating a signature Sophia look?
Well, first, I really take into consideration what I'm performing. If it's supposed to be a cosplay piece, I really take into mind the song, trying to get the lyrics to match kind of what I'm trying to present, um, and crafting outfits to kind of match an idea or storyline that I get from a certain song. Um, Usually, when I perform, I choose a song that I'm trying to tell a story while performing, and I want everything to come together. The makeup, the outfit. I take different aspects of the idea of what I'm performing. For instance, I have done a Green Lantern number, and for that, I sing One Call Away by Charlie Puth, and I from taking that Superman ain't got nothing on me line and just ran with it. And kind of that's how I kind of picked out my song choice so it would match kind of the theme I'm going for in the outfit.
Ooh.
Makeup, usually about it's a 3 hour process. Usually my biggest thing is takes me like 45 minutes for my brows. I have thick old caterpillar brows that I got to use spirit gum to hold down. They don't like to hold down, but I'm not willing to shave them off because I like my boy brows. And then
Oh,
I
come on,
just,
girl. It grows back. Just a little razor blade and little shaving cream. It all comes back eventually.
yes, but I don't want to constantly look like an alien. I'm lazy.
I mean, I feel it. So, out of all of these looks that you've done, do you have a favorite?
I think some of my favorites, I have made Valkyrie armor out of recycled tin cans, which turned out phenomenal. One of my absolute favorite outfits that I put together. Um, I have a really beautiful Green Lantern gown that I made out of some spandex fabric. And I think between my Green Lantern gown and my Valkyrie armor, those are probably two of my favorite looks that I've done.
Hmm. Now, how do you feel like drag has maybe affected your life or maybe even changed it for the positive?
I think that drag has helped me be more confident in who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I've always had a passion for community service and helping out our youth. And it has been able to allow me to grow on that side of things way more than anything else I've ever had in my life.
Goodness, I love that. And what can we expect from the Sophia Octavia Stone performance?
Well, you can expect a lot of different things. I like to keep people on their toes and try different things. Um, I will admit I am not the best dancer, but I like to create either a story that people can follow throughout the performance, or I'm a musician, so sometimes I like to make live music if that's singing in a performance, or I'm a classical clarinetist, and sometimes I'll grab a clarinet and shake it up, grab one of my saxophones, something like that. Just add a little flair, something that people aren't expecting.
I love that. I love doing live music like that. It's not something you see often at a drag show, especially with like a saxophone or clarinet. You mentioned you do a lot of dancing. Do you ever do a lot of bucking and twirling and maybe those dramatic moves that a lot of these queens do these days?
I can do some of them. However, I am not much of a queen for a death drop or the splits.
Right.
Unfortunately, I've got some nervous system issues that make it really hard to be able to do those kind of things. I watch those girls and I'm like, fantastic. And I'm like, I would die if I did that. If I did a
No.
death drop, I would just be done on the floor. They'd probably have to pick me up and carry me off. And that's the end of the performance.
Wow. Now, what kind of music do you tend to be like attracted to for a performance?
I like to definitely do a lot of musical theater type things. Um, One of my best friends, Vanilla Wafer, always says that I have the music preference of a middle school girl from the 2000s, early 2000s. I have I have done strip teases to Disney Channel original movie music,
Oh
and
my goodness, that's edgy.
I have no regrets. And I also just love being able to entertain people with like musical theater type things. And then if I'm not feeling a musical theater slash like Disney music, I'm more of kind of a punk rock girl.
Ooh, I love that. Like Joan Jett or like, maybe some garbage. What kind of punk rock?
Like just a little bit of Joan Jett. I recently I've been doing a little bit of Flyleaf. I've been getting back into Flyleaf recently. Um, Things like Evanescence. I really like finding covers of songs. Like there are Pop Goes punk covers and the Postmodern Jukebox both create a lot of music that I use.
Ooh, I love the postmodern jukebox. They do some great stuff. They did a rendition of Creep that I was very fond of. So, my love, what is the drag scene like out in your area? Where are you at exactly?
I live in Great Falls, Montana.
Oh my goodness, Montana. I mean, do you
Yeah,
all wear cowboy hats and chaps? I kind of hope so.
I mean, we don't all wear them, but some of the ones that do.
Oh my.
Yeah, can I'll save a horse and ride a cowboy anytime.
Where do I sign up for that? Okay. Well, what's it like out there?
Well, we actually have a lot more drag than people would anticipate. So our we have the ISCSM, which is the Imperial Sovereign Court of the state of Montana, and they are based out of Missoula, Montana, but they cover our court covers the entire state. So we have shows in Missoula and in Bozeman, Montana once a month. And then we rotate between different small town areas all across Montana. And honestly, some of the rural places that a lot of people would think, oh, I don't want to do drag there. Oh, drag probably isn't happening there. But it is. It's starting to grow, and the more that it's coming out into the open, people are getting excited about it. People are have been waiting to have that conversation of what is this? Why are you doing it? And they don't specifically hate it, they just don't understand. And we've been able to open a lot of doors for conversations, especially with the straight conservative community in Montana. And one thing, Montana is very community mindset. So you tell them you're raising money for a Montana charity, I don't care what you're doing. They're super happy.
Oh, I love that. Now, you mentioned doing a lot of like working with organizations and raising money. Would you consider yourself like a charity queen, or would you maybe consider yourself a queen for profit?
Definitely more of a charity queen. I specialize in like doing event planning. I have been the social media outreach coordinator for the ISCSM in the past. Um, Pre-COVID, I was doing things like a drag story hour. We had an all ages family friendly drag show. Um, and honestly, anytime anyone wants to try to put on a fundraiser, I want to be able to give them that option to help them plan it. I've been able to go into high schools and work with GSAs and teach them how to put on their own drag show fundraisers. So yeah, I would definitely say I am more on the fundraising side.
I love that. Have you now you've mentioned working with the court system. Have you held any titles?
I have not actually held any titles yet. I have been on the board a few times, and I'm hoping to get more into the title scene within this next year as everything is starting to open back up and we can do more things.
Absolutely. Now, do you have a drag family out there that's helped you along the way?
I do. So we I never really had much of a drag mom. First, I had a drag mentor who helped me paint my face once, and it was she painted half, I painted the other half, and then from there it was just go on your own. And then my best friend Vanilla Wafer, her and I became drag sisters, and we just started learning everything we could together, just practicing, playing, and then we've eventually we had going what we called the bakery, um,
Ooh.
which
Do you have
uh,
scones?
hmm, well, you'll just have to come and check it out, won't you? uh, However, the bakery is a place for people to come, and we started a lot of new baby drag queens or drag performers who, in general, who wanted to feel us creating a safe space for them to explore what they want to do with their drag. Um, there's a lot of young performers who think drag has to look one way, and that's not true. However, they're afraid to make mistakes or explore because whoever they've reached out to is like, well, this is how I do it. Well, we wanted to help create a space that be like, well, we'll show you what we know, but be creative, make mistakes, and we all just kind of bunch of misfits supporting each other.
Is there a drag mother or anything in this family?
Vanilla and I would be considered the drag mothers. We are the Valhallan sisters. Um, we kind of have overseen it, but it's less of a drag mom, drag child, and more kind of like drag cousins,
Ooh, I love
supporting, helping each other out.
that. I love that. Now, do you ever host shows at these, events that you do? And if so, what are you like on the microphone?
I do like to host. So I will, especially events that I plan, I usually host the show and at least perform once. Um, and I like to be able to really joke around on the mic, not be on there super long, but I tend to find like more cutesy humor to fit me best. I will make lots of like jokes about being a recovering Mormon boy. That's one of my favorite ones. Or and also throwing out a lot of positive reinforcement for the crowd while I'm hosting. No, I prefer to be able to connect with people with cute, innocent, kind of more dad joke type humor.
Ooh, I love a good dad joke. What's the best one you can lay on me?
Why was the strawberry jealous of the banana?
Tell me why.
Because the banana has a peel.
Ooh, I love that. Now, you mentioned earlier in our interview that you did drag queen story time. Tell me a little bit what that was like.
Oh, it was absolutely so much fun. We started out at the public library, and then when the public library was getting some renovations, we moved over to a coffee shop in town. Uh, and it's so wonderful because we come in, um, I either myself or someone else read stories. We pick out a couple stories based around a theme, usually around love and acceptance. We can do but reading the stories, letting the kids ask any questions they want, and then I tend to like to do like a little sing-along sometimes. I'll do like little sing-alongs and make little poster notes. Or also we'll do crafting or some kind of game, kind of keep everybody uh, focused and engaged, and also making an experience that the kiddos themselves and their parents can enjoy hanging out with a queen for an hour in the afternoon.
What are the kids' reactions to all you beautiful creatures showing up?
Most of the time, they're in absolute awe. They think we look absolutely beautiful. They want to know how we did it. Lots of questions, but the kiddos are honestly a lot more accepting than a lot of adults can be. You explain something once, you say, "This is what makes me feel good about me." And they go, "Okay," and move on. And it's been a very rewarding experience.
Why do you feel it might be important to, expose to kids to this kind of thing and have this available for them?
I think it's really important for this exposure, especially for kids, to be able to see that there's not just one way to be. You don't have to live in a box that someone else tells you. You can, growing up in a rural area when I didn't have a lot of queer icons, there was a lot of self-doubt. I had no idea, I felt different, but I had no idea why. And I was made to feel wrong about that. And no one should ever have to feel that way. And I think it's super important for these kind of things for our youth to be able to see that you can be strong and be whoever you want to be.
Absolutely. And I think that is definitely the most important thing about this situation is, people are like, well, what's the real reason for you to, do this kind of things with kids that young? It's like, well, I knew I was gay at a very early age. I at least knew that I was attracted to boys and girly things. And the only reason I ever suppressed it was because the world around me and my family told me to. And once I actually had people who told me it's okay to be who I am and embrace that, it was a lot better for me. And I feel like if we have that for these young kids who already knew who they are, but have someone else saying, no, you're not, don't do that, don't do this. But as long as they have those people reaching out saying it's okay to be you, it's okay to be beautiful.
Exactly.
I love that. So tell me a little bit, what does doing community work mean to you?
It means being able to do my part to make things better for the people who come after me. Like, my experience being a queer individual hasn't always been the most positive. There's
Oh, goodness.
definitely been a lot of struggles, but
Okay.
I don't want those who come after me and those around me to have to fight through some of those same things when they don't have to. I want to do my part to make the future better. And help the people around me that I love.
I love that. Now, you mentioned that life hasn't always been easy. Can you tell me about some of the hardships you've had to face as a drag performer?
Some of the hardships I've had to face as a drag performer is like, fighting discord with my family over the fact that they don't like that some of them don't enjoy that I like to get dressed up and have fun, and I can get some pretty demeaning comments.
Wow.
Kids were always like people who I've grown up with who saw me as the poster boy for the Mormons now see me and try to tear me down for how much I've changed. But also another struggle I think I found is disconnect between older generations of drag and newer generations of drag. We have a lot of gatekeepers who are like, this is how drag needs to be. And drag
Right.
is a gay man dressing like a woman. That's all drag needs to be. And I think that drag should, no matter how you identify out of drag, if you want to be a king, queen, in between, you are more than welcome to do. You should be able to do your drag however your heart desires. And that can, fighting for that and fighting for creating those spaces can threaten those who are afraid of change. And so pushing past gatekeepers within my own family and my own community has been some of my biggest difficulties starting drag and doing drag. But I keep pushing forward.
Understandably, babe. I love that. You always have to truck forward when people want to tear us down because those people are always going to be around and they're always going to try to make us feel insignificant. But the truth is, we're powerful and talented people, and they're just threatened by what we provide the world. So,
Exactly.
speaking of, can you tell me how drag has actually affected your self confidence?
It has completely boosted it. There are I there are times where I can, as a person, I am a very anxious person, and there are times where I get out there and I can um, put myself out there more and more and more, and it's given me the confidence to express my weirdness, given me the armor to be able to deal with the people who are trying to tear me down
Right.
and be able to grow and share what I love with the people around me.
Now, you're such a beauty queen. Can you tell me a little bit where you learned some of your makeup skills and where you became the queen you are today? Yes.
Lots of YouTube, baby.
Oh, really?
Watching YouTube, trying things, just experimenting. Sometimes things didn't work and I just had to roll with it. Um, I never really had access to like a very formal teacher and I just kind of had to start playing around and uh, bouncing off ideas off of uh, my drag sister who started off at the same time with me. So we just sat and learned and experimented until we figured out what worked for us.
Well, it definitely looks like you figured it out because, girl, you look stunning.
Look at you.
Oh, this
Yeah.
whole thing. And when I say this whole thing, I mean, this. Well, I love that. Are there any strong females that have helped inspire you along the way to make you the drag character you are?
I would definitely think so. Some of my strongest idols going up have like Pink was always a big
Okay.
star that really touched me. But I ended up growing up with a lot of very strong women in my family. especially uh, my great grandmother, who helped mostly raise me, who grew up in the Great Depression,
Oh, wow.
is one of my biggest inspirations. She is a badass. She built her own house on the top of a mountain while her husband sat in a chair and tried to give directions, but he just didn't do anything to help her. She raised 6 kids on a fucking mountain by herself.
Ooh.
Um, and she has battled so many things. She's beaten breast cancer. She is just one of the most inspiring people to me and has given me a lot of strength.
I love that family is what actually inspires you as a drag character. I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, it has been very powerful. And honestly, my great grandmother has been one of the most accepting of anyone in my family, for me doing drag, even given me um, these some very beautiful dresses that were her mother's, and being able to pass those things down to me. This woman's 80 years old, and she's the best person in the family about using they them pronouns for me, which is pretty amazing.
Wow. I mean, that's definitely progressive, but we can't expect that for the rest of the world. Be grateful for those few people who do get who we are and accept us and encourage us. So I do love that. Um, do you feel like there's a major personality change between you as your everyday self and becoming Sophia?
I don't feel I feel like there are certain parts of my personality that are enhanced. I try to be my most genuine self in and out of drag, but I think doing drag and getting the extra confidence helps me be a lot more outgoing, a lot more bubbly and talkative. Um, However, I stick to my guns of in and out of drag, just trying to put out the best vibes I can out into the world.
Absolutely. That's all we can ever do as people is just put the best we can and be good people and see what happens with all that energy. Now, earlier in the interview, you mentioned that you are non-binary. Has being non-binary and finding that part of yourself affected your drag at all?
It has. Like I when I first started doing drag, I thought that all my drag needed to be high femme, uh, very traditional beauty like, all the time. Um, and realizing that I myself kind of feel more comfortable kind of in the in between has been able to let me feel more confident in being a little more androgynous in my drag sometimes, or being willing to realize that I'm not going to wear something that uh, I might not wear it like it's supposed to. I'm going to wear it how it fits me
I get
and what
that.
makes me the most comfortable. And that is, I've been able to add more androgyny to my drag. Uh, the more I've gotten more comfortable being out as non-binary.
I get that. And absolutely, it's so fun to play with gender, especially with a drag character or on stage. I mean, I love presenting something super feminine looking and then take off like the top and reveal my boy chest. And just people be like, oh my goodness, what? Oh no. I usually wear pasties just for the effect, but it's fun. Playing with gender and pushing those boundaries it's good for us. It allows us to touch parts of who we are as people.
Yeah, this whole thing is it's the whole reason we do this is to push ourselves, and we learn more about ourselves every time we push ourselves farther.
Absolutely. And now I know you've thrown quite a few events through the years, as you've mentioned. One of the events you brought up to me was that you put together a black and white ball. What was that like for you?
It was really great. I got to work with a team over at I was on the board for the Western Montana LGBT Community Center. And we do an annual little black and white ball, and it's wonderful to be able to put together. I focused a lot on entertainment, being able to craft a show that would show a beautiful cross section of all our different types of performers that we have in our community, and being able to raise money so we can put that back into our community. Uh, and it big events like that can be quite stressful. Um, However, when everything just comes together at the moment during the event, it's like this is worth the work. And seeing people smile and feel safe and be able to enjoy being around people who want them there.
Well, oh my goodness. It sounds like you definitely do a lot, my love. Now, this last year has been hard on all of us. It's taken away a lot of our opportunities. Did you ever have the opportunity to maybe do some virtual performances this last year?
I did, yes. I got quite a few opportunities. I was able to, for Pride, I was able to put together my very first virtual variety show last year,
Ooh.
2020 Pride. And that was pretty great. I ended up having to host it from a hotel room in Rapid City, South Dakota, because I
Oh
was
my
doing it first.
goodness.
But I was able to get all different kinds of performers. We had drag performers, burlesque performers, poets, dancers. It was really great way to come together. And like I have been able to learn more about the virtual events. I was able to participate in a Valentine's Day dance party for teenagers for the LGBTQ Center of Southwest Wisconsin, which was pretty cool. Through a lot of my nonprofit work, I've been able to make a lot of networking and made a lot of contacts all over the country. So it's been able to help with other events like that, be able to provide things, especially for people who were very stuck in isolation. And yeah, other than that, just being able to stay involved and find different things to do from play. And it has been very amazing to see how adding virtual shows has changed the playing field. People can from all over, from completely different places, can come together and create a show like none other. And I find that absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. You know, the one thing I liked about doing all the virtual performances was the fact that we could actually kind of open our ideas and give you a full-fledged idea. And, you know, you can go into locations, film on top of a mountain. You know, I did a performance in the middle of the woods. I mean, it really is fun to actually do a pre-recorded performance. It's just you're not getting the same energy you would get from maybe like having the audience there.
Exactly. You don't get to feed off the audience, which makes it difficult when a lot of your performance is based on connecting with your audience, but it's opens up so many revenues for different ways of storytelling. I think one of my favorite videos I made over quarantine was me doing a performance to Defying Gravity from Wicked on my grandmother's porch on a mountain.
Oh, girl, get it. I love that. Now we only have a couple more questions and we're almost done with the interview. See, you're doing so good. What's something we should ultimately know about Sophia that maybe the average public doesn't know?
Hmm. Well, I guess most people would assume that I am a bottom. However, I am a top and I will hit on your dad and I will shove your dad's face into the pillow so quick. And most people don't expect me to want to leave grown men shaken, but that's my specialty.
Oh my goodness, she's an equal opportunist. I love it. Yes, I'll give you my number later.
Oh,
Yes. So, what is your favorite part of actually being a drag performer?
I think my favorite part of being a drag performer is seeing the joy that different performances bring to people's faces. Uh, Being able to make people laugh, be able to make people getting a whole room of people to sing along with you for one of their favorite songs. Um, all of that, just being able to share what I love and it actually bring people joy.
I love that. It's bringing them into your world of art and magic.
Exactly.
I love that. Well, only one last question for you, my love. What can we expect next from the beautiful and talented Sophia Octavia Stone?
Hmm. Well, next I am putting together some pretty fun ideas. I am wanting to put together some good virtual content for everyone and working on spreading my wings here in tiny little Great Falls to add some more events for some of these people to get to know drag a little bit.
Ooh, yes, Queen. That's great. I love that. You know, there's nothing wrong with bringing drag to a small town. I did it for almost 10 years in Medford, Oregon, and believe me, they weren't prepared for it, but they loved it. Yeah. Well, Sophia, you have survived my interview of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, and I just want to thank you so much for coming on this platform and sharing all your magic with us.
Thank you so much for having me here. I absolutely loved seeing your gorgeous face and chit-chatting about life. It's been a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, my love. And I love that you called me gorgeous because, who doesn't love being told that? Yes.
Exactly.
Well, all of you beautiful boys and girls and all those in between, I hope you enjoyed this fabulous episode with the one and only Sophia Octavia Stone. If you can, please stay tuned where you can find her tipping information so you can give her a little something extra just for spilling all the tea and sharing all her secrets. Again, I want to thank you for supporting Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, and I can't wait to see you next time. In the meantime, see who's coming up next, and we will see you on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock.
Clownfish, clownfish, bitch cock, clownfish, clownfish.